last night was interesting. We were watching a movie and Carter goes, Dad, there's an airplane. And we're like, what? And sure enough, we get up and there's a boat towing an airplane on airbag. And they just dropped it, like what, 10:30 last night? They just dropped it. Dropped anchor and there it is. Next morning, still sitting there.
Those are big airbags.
Yeah, we got a whole lot of weight.
Why is that one right there?
I don't know.
Can I push the propeller?
There's no growth on it. It is a Piper.
That does look... It looks...
What kind of anchor is it? It's like a Danforth or something. Like somebody... Huh.
Are they towing it forwards or backwards? Hang on, babe, I'll get you in right now.
They're towing it backwards.
They were towing it backwards?
Backwards, yeah. They're towing it by the tail tip.
Looks like it's...
Yeah, there's water. They probably put that airbag inside to float the cabin and displace the air. So random.
I would like to touch it. I want it.
So random. So random. I'm curious to if we ever find out what that story is. Or like Jolene said, if we find it on the Explorer charts in a couple years that there's a shipwreck or a plane wreck here in this location because it just got abandoned. Who knows? So we just got our rental car. They delivered it to us, half a tank. So we put another almost 9 gallons in it for $55.
How much is gas?
$6.30. Does it say $6.30?
Yeah, $6.30.
Per gallon for gasoline and $6.15 for diesel. I go down and take the first left and then the first right. And then we got to stop and pay for the rental car. I do love how they just, here's the car, stop at this place and pay. No ID, no money. You're on an island, what are you going to do? Yeah, well, very similar. Another one right there. Andros Administration Complex, government building. I think they paint all their government buildings pink.
That's a school. Because they paint all their schools
Green and yellow.
green and yellow.
Queens Highway.
Queens Highway.
$80 a day for rental car, and then a $200 security deposit. That's it. That's the receipt for the security deposit.
Cool.
Well, maybe not. Because those are magnet and I still see yellow leaves.
So Standard Creek, I believe, is an island just off the coast here, separated by a little creek.
First official bridge.
It's like third or fourth, but it's close.
Super shallow.
There's a kayak right there.
Cool.
just pulled up to the Androsia factory, which is...
It's like, it's the print famous in the Bahamas. It's like their national clothing or design, if you want to call it that.
So is it like their main factory where they make things?
Yes.
Huh, we're going to find out. It's also kind of hard to find, kind of off the beaten path.
Okay, welcome to Androsia. First timers?
Yep.
Okay, welcome. Androsia started out in 1973. It's been around for quite some years. As you see along the walls, we do have stuff for school, lodges, churches, etc. We ship to all parts of the world. This is a lot of stuff that we have in here. I was saying more than 1,000 stuff that is in here, and there's some drawn out. Once it's being drawn out, then you're gonna cut it out because it's an exacto knife. Once it's being cut out, once it's being waxed, they will bundle it into bundles over here. Then take it and state what type of fabric it is, how much you have in fabric, and the design of it on it. When I say what type of fabric, we do carry 4 types of fabric, which is 1785, board, canvas, and twill. Okay, and here's our dial. The fabric's being waxed, it will come on here to get dyed. If you look closely over here, you're going to see that they have dyed fabric now. They can wax still in it for 2 hours.
Do you live here full time?
I do this.
Oh, you live here.
Because I'm trying to fill the box back up, but she's a very fast runner. She can sew up to 40 shirts a day. She's very fast, she's good, she can sew absolutely anything you bring to the table. We also have someone that does the clipping and the pressing, the inspection, making sure everything is quality one before we ship it to our customer or before we put it in our outlet.
Come here, let me see it. Ah. He's going to take your picture. Cheese.
Okay, we'll get these.
As we continue to tour around Andros, our next stop was to find some blue holes. For 1 kilometer. There's a warden station.
The park is here, anything anybody said.
This whole place is flooded, so we parked there.
They just salt water.
And we're gonna walk the last couple meters,
It's a little
miles,
salty.
I don't know how long, to the blue holes.
Look at all the blue holes they got on the...
Those are all the blue holes all over there.
This is a national forest area, huh?
Highest concentration of blue holes in the Bahamas. And it contains rich species of fish and shrimp. It's a 40,000 acre park.
Yeah, it's big.
Is that a hand pump?
Yeah, you can get fresh water from it.
It's actually fresh though. It's actually fresh. Oh, it's actually kind of cool.
Is it good?
It tastes terrible. No salty. It tastes terrible. It has a tiny bit of salt, but can I put it in yours?
No, I already did it.
Here, can you pump it up to me?
Yeah, sure.
Want to try some?
No, thank you.
Can't you guys move? Hold on.
Well, you can look
Taylor,
over
you
and see the
jumping in?
ladder like go deep in the water.
Are you jumping?
Yes.
It's like from the top of the boat.
You better do it quick, because I'm scared of blue holes.
Ready?
Literally just a deep pit. Worst case it stinks.
2, 1.
Oh, he going. Wow.
I felt, yes, I think I felt the salt water.
It's not really.
Really, you can
I'll give you 5.
5? Like, really?
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah. KNAPP.
You did it.
You did it!
$5.
Yep. I'll give you $5.
Because I also
You want to do it again?
Guys, let's all do it.
Let's all do it.
Carter will go, then I'll go, then Caleb will go.
No, give us.
Okay.
Ready?
2, 1, go!
Go, Caleb.
2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of
Talking from our aft. So we are going to do a couple different parts. We're going to start with telling you what we know about the airplane that you saw at the beginning of the video.
Yeah.
Then we're going to skip to the kids and let them tell us what they thought about the blue holes. And then we'll finish up with our thoughts on Andros as a whole.
So the plane got brought in, as we showed you in the video, and dropped. And 2 days later, something like that,
Sometime a day or two later.
some people had come back and pulled it over to the beach during high tide. And
So it was like beach, like they beached
yeah,
it.
and then they let the tide go down, and it was sitting on the beach. And they spent the day with a sawzall cutting it apart.
Mhm.
And we went over and talked to the gentleman. Apparently, he is a salvager. And because it was an American registered plane, an American owner with the FAA and all that, all those planes supposed to get retrieved if possible so they can do an investigation.
Mhm.
And this plane had crashed, what, a week before, a week and a half before?
So we saw it on like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I guess it had crashed on the Thursday before, 10 miles north of Andros. It had mechanical problems. They crash landed it in about 10 feet of water. There's 5 people on board, all survived.
No injuries.
They radioed for help, and a couple hours later, a boat went out there, grabbed them, brought them back to land. I'll actually post a link in the description to a news report that I found. But everything was okay. But that plane will no longer be there. So there was a little bit of rumors going around the Bahamas. They're like, "Ooh, another sunk plane to go look at." No, they removed it.
So apparently, if it's a Bahamian-owned plane, they get left.
They'll leave it. Because I don't think they have insurance the same way
Yeah, I don't
that
know.
Americans have insurance, and the insurance wants to, do its due diligence.
I think not just that. I think the FAA, the federal government, wants to know if there's issues so they can.
Yeah.
They're pretty regulated. So it was interesting. He bought the plane 2 weeks prior to crashing it. Is what it looked
I
like.
think he flew it from West Palm to San Andros, and they were just leaving San Andros.
And they had the plane accident. So what? Second flight for that guy probably, or third flight, something like that.
Of that plane. It sounded like he was a very experienced pilot,
Oh, okay.
but second flight for that plane.
But, yeah. So it was you never know what you're going into. It was. He spent the whole day cutting it up, and then he lifted it up in pieces, the fuselage, and then the wings.
Yeah,
and,
his boat had a crane on the back.
Yeah.
So, like the salvager, he had a crane on the back. So he actually ended up just putting the plane, and he took the wings off and put those on separate.
But it wasn't that much bigger than our boat. He
No.
might have had a 50 or 60 foot trawler,
Just different style, right?
but it had like a working deck, like
Yeah.
a sport fish more in the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Pretty cool.
Blue holes on Andros they were fun to swim in, but when you jumped in, it was a little scary because
Yeah,
you didn't know
there's
how
just
deep
you can't
it
even
was.
see the depth. And the one we went to was kind of murky. You couldn't really see but 10 feet down on the edges.
And it was a freshwater one.
Mm-hmm. And it's where Chase finally jumped off a little high jump. So he is now not fearful of
I've
jumping
done
off
it
the top.
before.
Yeah, a long time ago.
But the blue holes were very fun to do, but not really much there. Just trying to fit in the ground. I prefer ocean open ones where it goes from nice clear water to still clear water that's just deep.
What were your guys' thoughts of Andros on a hole?
Stormy, rainy, a lot of shipwrecks.
There's not really much to it. I mean,
The only good part I like about it was Androsia.
yeah, that was cool.
It's where they make like every single all the Bahamas clothing and shirts and everything for any dive resort you can find. Even on other islands in the Bahamas that we go out to, there's Androsia wear.
Yeah, we went to a store on the island we're on right now, and we just saw some shirts from Androsia. Andros was kind of boring though.
Mm-hmm.
The water wasn't that nice.
Would you go back?
No.
If it was either that in the Bahamas or this every single time.
Exuma's over Andros then?
Yeah.
Okay, so the boys kind of hit the nail on the head with our thoughts on Andros. I'm glad we tried it because we've said we wanted to try it the last 3 seasons, and now I think we're like, oh, we did it. Now we don't have to do it again.
To look at it and all the descriptions of it, you think it's this huge, massive, because it has more land mass than all the other islands the Bahamas put together. And third largest barrier reef, and supposedly it's got soil so you can actually farm there and all this stuff. And it was, to me, just a big missed opportunity for them.
Yeah, that's the Bahamas in a whole. That's kind of one of the things we walk around and say a lot is like, oh man, what a missed opportunity here, there, whatever.
But there was, the government just owns all the land for the most part over there, I believe. And they haven't doled it out for people to try and...
Or it's national park, a national forest.
Yeah. And then as far as anchorage or marinas and anchorages go, for cruisers, they're really not there. So there's not a lot of protection. There's potential for them to be there.
They're building a marina.
Down in the southern end of the north of Andros.
But even
Fresh
then,
Creek.
like for cruisers, there's nothing to do. So like Morgan's Bluff where we anchored, there's not even a grocery store right there. So you'd have to rent a car or have a scooter. But I wouldn't take a scooter down the road to the grocery store. A lot of the roads were super nice, but the road to the grocery store is not nice.
Yeah. It reminded me of a middle of nowhere, small town America, but in a...
Not a lot of resources, but they have them, but they don't use them.
Yeah, so it's just kind of different.
And I kind of felt like the water itself was pretty in some spots, but in other spots I felt like it's green and clear, just like the Florida Keys on the bay side. So why would I come all the way to the Bahamas when I could stay in the Florida Keys? So I was like, I mean, I'm not knocking it down. Andros was cool, and it's nice.
And like we've been told by other people, there's just not a lot of infrastructure and all that stuff to do. Like if you want to go diving, that's fine, but you got to book at the one of 3 diving resorts.
Now, if you stay at one of those dive resorts, I bet it's cool because they have like a week of itinerary for you. So you're not just staying at like a hotel and have nothing to do. You stay there, and every day they take you out diving or snorkeling or to
Blue Holes.
or to Blue Holes or something. But we tried to go to a couple of those resorts and say, hey, can we jump on a tour with you? Because we didn't know where to go or what to do. And they're like, no.
It's all for our own guests. So it's kind of different. Yeah, it's just, once you're there, there's nothing to do, I think is the biggest takeaway, right? So.
But
anyway, hope that was helpful. Glad you guys are still watching our videos. Thank you for that. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you got questions, drop us some questions in the comments. And as always,
enjoy the journey.